Wow, great theme song. Welcome back to the This Week in Film podcast, week 2.
What's going on, guys?
Hey.
I'm Nick Panotto. You just heard Charlie Chester and Tony LeBoy.
Hello.
Tony,
Yeah?
you know what? Charlie,
Yeah.
what'd you see this week in film?
What did I see this week? This past week, I had the privilege of watching 2 movies. One is Ted 2, the Seth MacFarlane teddy bear, talking teddy bear. And then another movie called Selfless with...
actually, that's the one with where the guy takes the pill, he gets really smart.
Self/less?
That's Limitless.
Oh.
Limit/less?
Nope. This is Sir Ben Kingsley. I think he's a Sir.
It's part of the
Ben Kingsley?
Yeah.
Slash franchise.
If he's not
Sir to you.
if he's not a Sir, he should be a Sir.
Yep.
And Ryan Reynolds. Yeah. Yeah, I don't recommend either of them. So why don't we talk some more about what you guys watched?
All right. I watched Dope, and upon Charlie's recommendation, I watched Bone Tomahawk, which is fantastic. So, have you guys seen Dope?
No, I have not seen Dope.
That's surprising.
Tony, why don't you pitch Dope to us?
Man, this new format.
This is
really
exciting. This is exciting. It's the first time we're going to hear the pitch for the movie Dope.
Man. All right, so take 3.
No.
All right. No, so Dope is basically about this kid and his 2 friends, and they're like the geeks of the school.
I guess they get some drugs that they need to sell.
So you have heard of
I'm
it.
just,
They get, they come into some drugs, some powdered Molly, and they have to sell it to get rid of it. And not to give it away. Some hijinks ensue. Blake from Workaholics makes an appearance.
Is it a
Very
comedy?
Funny. It's a comedy.
There's a Workaholics theme running through our podcast at this point.
Why is that?
Because last week we talked about Boy Scouts...
Scout's Guide to the Apocalypse.
So one of the Workaholics
Blake
was in that.
too,
Well,
Blake.
That was Blake. So it's just Blake.
Oh, it's just Blake.
At this point, we should probably learn his name.
Yeah.
We should do some
I think it's
research.
Blake.
That guy's getting around.
His name
Okay.
is Blake.
Tony, would you recommend Dope?
I would definitely recommend it. If you're a fan of Friday, if you're a fan of like, they do a lot of 90s hip hop in that movie. It's very good.
So it's a comedy.
Yeah, it's a comedy. It's very
time.
funny. Yeah.
Okay, take 4.
All right.
Let's do it again.
Nick, what did you watch?
Well, this week in film, I saw the new James Bond movie Spectre and the new Mission Impossible Rogue Nation. Both were pretty much meh. Spectre.
I saw both of them.
Yeah?
I saw both of them. Did you watch any, Tony?
I have not seen either.
Okay.
Okay.
I can talk about either one. So which one would you like to talk about?
I'd like to talk about Spectre. Mission Impossible, just real quick, just a bunch of pretty good action sequences just kind of strung together on a shell of a movie. But they were pretty good. But Spectre, I thought, was pretty disappointing.
Well, here's one thing that I thought was really cool about the movie that they did as an overall, looking at big picture of James Bond since, late 60s, early 70s?
Yeah.
When it started. The movie started out campy, right?
Yeah.
That was the shtick.
Well, they got campy. They started out as just like spy movies with some clever charm in there. And then as the 70s came in, then they got campy and campier.
Okay, yeah, totes. They
Yes, totes indeed.
But they always had this formula that they would always work with.
Yeah.
You know, there was always going to be the main female counterpart. Then there's always a tryst as well. There's another girl. There's the gadgets. There's always a moment where you find the new gadget, so on and so forth. They have this formula. So that's what Bond was. But now when they rebooted with Daniel Craig and I can't remember the director's name at this moment.
Sam Mendes.
They got away from that because we're in a Bourne ultimatum sort of society. Like at this point, that's what we want. So that's what they were catering to. So what's cool about what they did in this is that the movie starts out in that Cineverse, that Bourne Ultimatum Cineverse. And as the movie goes on, it starts to become more old school James Bondy, more campy. The devices start coming in a little more and more and more. And if you look big picture overall at what they were doing, Casino Royale, these Daniel Craig movies were predating the very first Bonds ever from back in the 60s, 70s. So basically, they're setting it up so it all becomes canon full circle. So by this movie ending, campy and whatnot, the next movie technically, back from the 60s, 70s, picks up and like it seamlessly would fit in to this campy full circle.
Yeah, I get all that, but I mean, I just don't like the way that they did it. Like the story itself for this movie wasn't solid. I remember like the entire opening sequence that takes place in Mexico. I remember hearing the only reason that they did that was because they got a whole bunch of tax relief to shoot it there. Mexico threw tons of money at them to shoot the part of the James Bond movie there, and that's why it just takes place in Mexico during their Dia de los Muertos.
Well, that ruins the movie for you because you found out Mexico gave
no,
us a tax
no,
break?
but like all over their advertisements for the movie are like the guys wearing the skull makeup and like the costumes and stuff. When really that is literally 5 minutes of the movie, and it has nothing to do to play in the bigger themes of the movie. And then the overall story itself, I thought was just weak. Like I thought that Christoph Waltz was wasted. I thought that of the more recent Bond movies, this is the one that felt more worldly. Like he went everywhere in this movie, and it was great. But like everywhere he went, it was kind of along the lines of, why are we here now? I don't really understand why we're here. Why are we doing this? Why is this facility here? Oh, because of this. It was a lot of exposition. Yeah. Everywhere you go, you had to meet Mr. Exposition to explain why we're here and what's going to happen next.
Right. Well, that's old school Bond as well. I'm not defending it. I'm just
I get it. And I love all those old school Bond movies. And what I along with what you said, and I know we're going way over time on a James Bond, but it's great. You should watch a James Bond movie.
I should. I love James Bond.
But what I thought was interesting, what you were saying about the Bourne movies, is that Bond had to reinvent itself with like the Casino Royale, and it has since lasted longer than the Bourne movies. So I think it's comfortable slipping back into its old pair of shoes at this point, which was nice to see, like some of the more campy aspects of Bond, like the car with the fire and things like that. But overall, I just thought that the story was weak. When the movie was over, I was kind of like, well, that's done. Yeah,
and the lead actress, she was bland.
She was bland.
She was bland.
She was cute, but I agree, she was bland.
I can't remember her name.
I even looked her up,
but
and
she was like a saltine cracker, man. She was bland.
Yeah. I don't know if she's no name, but like I don't know if I had ever really seen her before.
Okay.
But. Well, we went way over our agreed time
that's
per
fine.
movie, but me and Charlie had a great time talking about Spectre. Tony,
do you want
to do dope again?
I don't know who I believe. Nick made some good points about how it sucked.
It's
Charlie
definitely
really sold
it's definitely worth seeing. I don't know if I would watch it again.
I think if I were to leave you with anything, it's cool to see what they were doing big picture. That is more important than the film itself.
Yeah, I like how it makes every Daniel Craig Bond movie matter.
Yeah.
Like it's all one part of one long narrative, which I thought was neat, but you could tell that they tried to do it at the end.
All right. Now I'm gonna get Nick back because I want to talk Bone Tomahawk.
Oh man,
this movie was incredible.
Itching to talk about this for like 2 months when I begged both of you to watch it.
Well, that's been This Week in Film. I want to thank everybody for listening.
Well, no, we're going overtime. I don't give a shit.
Charlie's got to go to the doctor.
Well, I had to earn that explicit rating. I had to say shit because we're explicit on now.
We just went to 17 because you only get one.
All right. Well, anyway, Bone Tomahawk. Give them a quick summary about what it's about for people who have not seen it, just to sell it.
Okay, so Bone Tomahawk is essentially like the Old West and the Searchers, where small western town is
in the east
old sheriff like Kurt Russell, awesome. His mustache makes the movie, and then basically a couple of the locals, Patrick Wilson's wife.
And a deputy.
get kidnapped
By this cannibalistic tribe of Indians, Native Americans.
And pretty much ask the local gunslinger to come with them on a journey with Jenkins.
Gunslinger
right?
Matthew Fox from Lost, and Richard Jenkins, who's like the backup deputy, steps into the deputy role, who is by far the most hilarious part of this movie, which is a dark Western horror movie, and he's hysterical in it.
I prefer Matthew Fox from Party of Five.
Anyway.
Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for tuning in this week to the This Week in Film podcast. Tony, you got any plugs?
Yeah. Check out LosAngelesChargers.com, home of the Los Angeles Chargers football team.
What do they cover?
What?
What do they cover?
Just about anything.
Sport or
whatever.
wherever?
Yeah.
Great. Charlie?
You can go to Comixology right now to check out my comic book Boy Zero, which is available in 7 individual issues, and it's soon going to be in hardcover, sold Amazon.com, BarnesandNoble.com, and brick-and-mortar stores.
What's it called?
Boy Zero.
Excellent.
What about you? Any plugs, Nick?
I just want to plug the This Week in Film Facebook and Twitter pages. We don't do a lot with it, but I don't know. We're supposed to tell you if you liked it, that would be neat, because we just got one like 2 minutes ago, and I about jumped out of my pants.
Begging for...
You can follow us on iTunes and Stitcher now. Comments, questions, anything you want, post it to one of them things. Oh, thisweekinfilmpodcast.com.
Everything. Every facet, every outlet.
You got internet everywhere now.
Cool.
All right, well, thanks for listening. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye. Wow, great out theme. Great